In early October, I enjoyed a trip to Austin, Texas to visit my son Jeremy. It was my first time ever in the capital city, and I was impressed with the various points of interest. One of them is the boardwalk along Lady Bird Lake, where we took his dog Tchotchke for a walk, giving us a superb view of the skyline of Austin, now the 11th largest city in the U.S. We also enjoyed a spectacular view while eating at the Oasis on Travis Lake west of Austin. My son suggested that I do a video on the famous moon towers of Austin. I didn't know anything about them, so he took me by the 350-acre Zilker Park, Austin's oldest city park, where one of the moon towers is located. The moon tower in Zilker Park was prominently featured in the 1993 film Dazed and Confused as the site of a high school keg party in which the character David Witterson, played by Matthew McConaughey, exclaims,
"There's a new fiesta in the making as we speak. It's out at the moon tower. Full kegs. Everybody's gonna be there."
The scenes were actually filmed at a mock-up of a tower which was erected at Walter E. Long Park east of Austin. Both the base and the top of the tower shown in the movie differ greatly from those of the real towers. The moon tower in Zilker Park was originally not located here. It had been brought in from Emma Long Metropolitan Park. Zilker Park was named after Andrew Jackson Zilker, who came to Austin in 1876 and made a small fortune in the ice business. By 1934, he donated his entire ranch to the city for a park, which includes the famous Barton Springs, now a public pool, but I'll get to that later. Moon towers actually date back to the 1890s and were used to light up large areas of major cities, which included San Jose, California, Wabash, Indiana, New Orleans, Louisiana, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Detroit, Michigan. Austin, Texas set up 31 used towers purchased from Detroit in 1894. Today, Austin is the only city in the world known to still have moon towers. They are 165 feet tall with foundations that are 15 feet wide. The towers were manufactured by Fort Wayne Electric Company in Indiana and assembled on site. Moon towers were once an ingenious lighting system and emitted a 3,000-foot diameter of light. A single tower cast light from 6 carbon arc lamps, illuminating a 1,500-foot radius brightly enough to read a watch. They were predecessors to streetlights, and although the light bulb was invented in 1879, not even half the people had electricity in their homes, even in the early 1920s. For the first time, residents of Austin had the freedom to roam outside their homes after sunset. The towers originally featured carbon lamps whose filaments had to be trimmed and replaced every day. Those lamps were replaced with oversized incandescent bulbs in 1923 and then with mercury vapor lights in 1936. The mercury vapor lights, still in use today, emit a bluish moonlight cast just like the original carbon lamps. How were the original carbon lamps replaced? Each tower originally had a one-person elevator inside and a technician who traveled from one to the next in horse-drawn buggy. The hand-drawn elevators later were replaced with a simple ladder, and now electricians use crane lifts to make repairs and replace bulbs, which generally require closing off the street. In 1970, the towers were recognized as Texas State Landmarks, followed by the 15 remaining towers being listed in the National Register of Historic Places in 1976. Only 6 of them are in their original locations as placed in 1894. In 1993, the city of Austin dismantled the towers and restored every bolt, turnbuckle, and guy wire as part of a $1.3 million project, the completion of which was celebrated in 1995 with a citywide festival. So Jeremy, my son, is trying to figure out how to buy tickets at this kiosk so that we can go into the Barton Springs pool area. So about Barton Springs. My visit was in October, and because it was still warm, this is Texas mind you, we were able to take one swim in the waters. I was surprised to see people of all ages taking a swim, some of the women even without their tops. The water was clear, but the bottom was slimy, and we spotted at least one turtle on our swim. In 1924, a bathing pavilion was built by the springs, and 4 years later the pool was improved by the construction of a permanent dam. The pool itself is 3 acres in size and is fed from underground springs with an average temperature of 68 to 70 degrees, ideal for year-round swimming. Over the years, Barton Springs Pool has drawn people from all walks of life. Future actor Robert Redford reportedly learned how to swim in the pool when he was 5 years old while visiting family in Austin. Today, Barton Springs still attracts a diverse crowd and has seen record numbers of visitors nearing 800,000 in recent years. When accepting a Most Worthy Citizen Award in 1927, Zilker referred to Barton Springs as a sacred spot, one dedicated to the memories of Confederate Generals Robert E. Lee and Albert Sidney Johnson. So this is pretty interesting. According to the sign, this pool is home to the endangered Barton Springs and Austin blind salamander. This bronze statue, called the Philosopher's Rock, is at the entrance of Barton Springs. It memorializes 3 renowned Austin writers who used to sit on the limestone shelf around Barton Springs Pool and discuss their work that helped transform Austin into an oasis of open-mindedness. They were J. Frank Dobby, a famed folklorist and English professor who defended liberal causes such as the rights of sit-down strikers and the admission of black students to the University of Texas years before it happened. There was Walter Prescott Webb, the eminent historian who wrote and edited over 20 books and served as an advisor to Senator Lyndon B. Johnson. Lastly, Roy Bedichek was a prominent naturalist who helped lay the foundation for the naturalist and environmentalist rhetoric that would gain traction in the 1960s. On my final day with my son, we ate breakfast here at the Pharmacy, a restaurant in an old pharmacy. We then walked over to take a look at another moon tower at East 11th and Lydia Streets. So here at the corner of 11th and Lydia is another moon tower, towering above this area of Austin. Hours later, I was off to the airport, where I saw this strange sight. So we're not at the Home Depot, we're at the Austin airport. All this modern art will greet you when you arrive. In the coming weeks, I will be highlighting more video of historic places in Texas which I visited, but let me close with some gorgeous video of Texas-sized clouds while the plane chased after the sun on the way back home to California.